welcome back to Natural Black Vegan, or welcome if you are new. This is a space for all things natural hair, veganism, black girl magic, spirituality, and just a bunch of other stuff. We got fitness, we got vlogs, we got health, we got everything. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on any new videos. But today, I'm going to be sharing my 5 tips to have an intentional year. So 2023 is right around the corner. I don't know where 2022 went, but 2023 is right around the corner, and I want to share some tips that help me to have an intentional year. So basically, when I say intentional, I mean done on purpose with purpose. So not blindly going into the year, not knowing what you want to accomplish, not knowing, your goals, things you want to bring into the next year, what you're going to focus on. So we want to make sure we're entering the next year of our life with intention and with purpose. So these are my tips for doing that. So I don't want to just set like New Year's resolutions, because honestly, like 2/3 of people give up on those resolutions by the end of January, and we don't want to be like those people. When we set our goals and our intentions, we want to hold them and keep them throughout the entire year, so we can look back on the year and be like, I did that. So these are ways we could be more intentional with our time and with ourselves this year. So my first step to having an intentional year is to create a vision board. I love vision boards. I already made my vision board for 2023. I'm not going to share it because I just feel like it's something that's really personal. But make a vision board. So you can either do a physical board, like actually on a poster or on a bulletin board, or you could do a digital board, which is what I like to do. And I do mine in Canva. And basically, I do my vision boards by going on Pinterest and finding pictures that make me happy and that speak to me, that show what I want my life to look like over the next year. So for example, if I want to be healthier, I might find a picture of a green smoothie, because in my mind, that means I'm being healthy. Or if I want to have 100K subscribers on YouTube, I'll find like some gold numbers that say 100K and put that on there. Things like that. If I want to have new friendships, I find a picture of like a group of black girls that look happy and they're like rocking their natural hair and they're all hanging out on vacation. Put that on there. That's for new friendships. Maybe you want to put a stack of money on there. Maybe you want to put like the specific car you want. Like if you want a Jeep, you might have a picture of a Jeep. If you want to get married, you might have a cute picture of like a bride and a groom or a wedding dress or whatever. But find pictures that speak to you and put them on the vision board. I like to make mine digitally because then I can set them as my wallpaper on my computer, my wallpaper on my phone, and I can look at them and be reminded of what I want to accomplish in the year. Like it's sitting at the forefront of my mind when I see it every day and I focus on it. I like to also save the vision boards, because then at the end of the year I can look back on it and see what things on my vision board I actually accomplished that year. So that's why I like the digital boards. But if you like the physical boards, find some pictures, print them out, get some magazines, whatever. Find pictures that evoke a strong emotional response in you, that make you think this is what I want, and set those intentions and put them on that vision board. To me, like nothing is out of reach. I mean, like, some things are like just super, super crazy. But, like dream big, put it on your vision board. It doesn't have to be like a yearly board. I've seen people do monthly boards. Some people just do what I want to accomplish in life somewhere. So feel free to change the time limit on your vision board as well. I like to do mine for the year, but maybe yours is going to be for 6 months, for 1 month, whatever. But yeah, that's the first thing I do, is set up my vision board and make sure that it's nice and pretty and aesthetic, and I like to look at it like I do a color theme and all of that stuff to just make it really nice, and so that I love it and I feel happy and motivated when I look at it. My next thing to have an intentional year is to choose a word of the year. So I feel like a word of the year kind of gives you a focus and a theme, and I do this by like sitting down and reflecting over the past year, thinking about what I want to do for the next year and what I want my main focus to be. Like for example, for 2022, my word of the year was, well, it was 2 words, but it was level up. And level up was my theme for the year. I say in a lot of my YouTube videos, I say like, oh, this is your space for leveling up. Level up was my word for 2022. And I feel like I did that in a lot of ways. I tried new things. I started my YouTube channel, like I feel like I was stepping up more professionally. So I feel like I lived up to level up. 2 years ago, my words were power and authenticity, and together, like there is power in my authenticity, meaning no one is doing the same thing I'm doing. I shouldn't base my progress off of anyone else, things like that. So I feel like choosing a word or two or a phrase to focus on for that year is important too, because it gives you that focus, just like the vision board. I choose a word that I feel like is really meaningful, that I'm going to stick to, and like if you get down and feel like, oh, I'm not hitting my goals, think about that word, like be reminded, like level up. This is my year to level up. So I still haven't chosen my word or my words for 2023 yet. I still like have to sit down and like put together my goals and everything, like really form it, because I get like really deep when I do this, so I need hours to like put this all together. So I kind of have in my mind what my word is going to be. It's kind of a phrase. I have it in mind for this year, but it's not like solidified yet, so I'm not going to share it. But yeah, have a word or words of the year to help you be intentional and purposeful in your year, so you know this is what I'm focusing on, this is the woman I am, this is the woman I want to become, that kind of thing. If you decide to choose a word or words of the year, let me know in the comments what your word of the year is going to be this year. That's what I want to know. I want to know, what is your word for this year? What are you focusing on in 2023? So my next tip is to set measurable, trackable goals. And to me, that's the difference between a resolution and a goal. A resolution is, I'm going to lose weight. A goal is, I'm going to incorporate fruits and vegetables into every snack. A measurable goal is, I'm going to do cardio 3 times a week and strength 2 times a week. That's something you can measure. That's something you can track. I'm going to lose weight is just, it's open-ended. Like, what are you going to do? How are you going to do it? What's the plan? How are you going to track your progress, you know? So I feel like if you set those like specific measurable goals, that's how you're actually going to reach them. Like if your goal is just, I'm going to save money, a better goal would be, each paycheck, I'm going to put 20% of that paycheck into my savings account, which was actually my goal last year, and I did keep up with that goal. But it's like measurable, it's trackable. I can see that I'm doing it, and there's a measure of success. So every paycheck, did I put 20% of my check into my savings account? Yes, I did. So I met that goal. Or did I do cardio 3 days a week? Did I meet that goal? And that's the thing with goals, like you have to also be able to track it. So if your goal is, you know, eating those fruits and vegetables, at the end of 2 weeks, I should be able to ask you and you can tell me yes or no, because it's something you can keep up with. You can track to see if you're doing it. So even if your goal is to be healthier or to lose weight, make sure it's things you can track, you can measure, like take progress pictures, measurements. Even if you're not a fan of the scale, make sure that you're doing those small goals along the way to help you reach that big goal of losing weight, if that makes sense. So set a few goals. I personally think 5 to 10 is enough. Like more than 10 goals, I don't see how you can focus on all of that in 365 days with everything else you have going on in your life. So less than 10 goals for the year. Make sure they're things you can measure, things you can track, and they are specific and they're doable. So like me saying, oh, I'm going to save $1 million this year. That's not doable. I don't make $1 million. There's no way for me to save $1 million this year. Make sure like you start small and it's a goal that you can actually keep up with so that you can feel, you know, successful when you do reach the goals. Like we want to reach these goals. We want to feel happy and successful and accomplished that we actually got it done. So don't set something that's too far out, but make sure it's something that you can actually do. Set the bar high, but not impossibly high. You know what I mean? All right, my next tip to have an intentional year is to journal and self-reflect. I am so big on journaling. I have so many blog posts on naturalblackvegan.com with different journal prompts, journal challenges. Stay tuned to, I'm doing a 31-day journal challenge in January. Subscribe to naturalblackvegan.com so you don't miss that, or follow me on Instagram. I'm going to post about it there. But I'm big on journaling and self-reflection. Like when I'm setting my goals and my word of the year, and I even choose a scripture of the year, I'm going to sit down and write all of this stuff down. Like just last week, I looked back on what I wrote at the end of 2021, preparing for 2022. And I looked at all the new things I did in 2021, what my goals were for 2022, what was my word for the year, what was my scripture of the year. I looked back at all of that. What was my vision board looking like for 2022? And I can see areas where I lost my focus and areas where I did well, because there are times when, you know, you don't hit all of those goals, and it's good to reflect and see what happened over the year. I try to journal at least twice a week. It used to be a point where I was doing it daily, but at least twice a week, because it's good to reflect and see like how your year went. Like I like to sit down and see, like I said, what I accomplished and where I need to put more focus on next year. It gives you that ability to self-reflect, and a lot of people lack that skill to self-reflect. So when you write things down, you can go back and read them and reflect on what you did for that year, see what you can do better, see what you can stay the same, see what habits you need to get rid of. Like you might look back at your journal entries and be like, man, I did a lot of negative self-talk, or there were a lot of times when I let people push my boundaries past where I wanted them to be. So then maybe that's a goal you can set for the next year. Maybe your next year goal will be, I'm going to speak positive affirmations to myself twice a week. And I'm going to practice saying no. Because you read back from the last year and see those are things you need to work on. So I feel like, you know, your sense of reality can get warped if you don't write the things down. Like, I could look back on 2022 and think, I didn't do nothing with this year. Like, I feel like I'm in the same spot. Or I could go back and look at what I did each month, what I did differently, how I grew. And I'm like, oh yeah, now I see that. But if I didn't write it down, you know, you might think you got nothing done. So write things down, self-reflect, go back and read it. I know at first it was hard for me to journal, and it was hard for me to go back and read it without feeling like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. Like, what is wrong with me? But it does get easier over time. I will link some journal prompts to get started in the description box down below. So my last tip to have an intentional year is to surround yourself with like-minded people. I really cannot stand when I see people who are positive, who are optimistic, who are goal-oriented, surrounded with insecure, jealous, negative people, because you are going to become like those people that you're around. If you have all these goals for yourself and you're around people who don't have anything going on for themselves, who constantly have something negative to say about you and you leveling up and you doing good things, it's going to bring you down. So if you want to be healthier, surround yourself with healthy people. If you want to work on your mental health, don't be around people who say that you don't need therapy or people don't need to talk to anybody. Surround yourself with people who feel the same way you do, so that you feel supported. Like, people need other people. Everybody needs other people. Like, God didn't put us on this earth to be by ourselves. Like, I heard somebody say the other day, how it takes a village to raise a child. Like, adults need villages too. So make sure you're surrounding yourself with a good village, with people who support you and are going to support your goals. Like, I know when I first went vegan, my family supported me, but there are a lot of people whose family doesn't, and I can't even imagine, like, not having people there to, like, support me with everything I want to do. Like, with starting my channel, with starting my blog, people support me. My friends, my family, the people around me support what I do. And I'm not going to be around people who talk down on what I'm trying to do, or when I tell them a goal and like, oh, you can't do that, that's not going to happen. I would never be around people like that, and you shouldn't be either, because those people are just going to bring you down or make you think that your goal is not attainable. And if it's measurable and it's trackable and you put your mind to it, it is attainable. So make sure you are surrounding yourselves with like-minded people. Same for if your goal is to pray more or read the Bible more or to have a closer relationship with God. You better surround yourself with some Christ-minded people. And I didn't say Christians, I said Christ-minded people. Surround yourself with Christ-minded people if that's what you want to do. Also, I believe I have a blog post with how to get a closer relationship with God, and I will link that in the description box too. But yeah, that is my last tip. Surround yourself with like-minded people. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and leave a comment telling me, again, what's your word or phrase of the year. If you said a scripture for the year like I do, what's your scripture of the year? And which one of these tips are you really going to take to heart after you watch this video? Which one do you know you're going to do? Are you going to journal more? Are you going to do a vision board? Set some goals? Like, which one are you going to do? And I do have a blog post summarizing all this information that I put in this video. I'll link that in the description box below. But before I leave, I had a couple of affirmations that I wanted to read to you guys before I end the video. So I have my computer right here, so if you see me looking down, I'm reading this affirmation. I wrote this at the end of 2021, I believe it's when I wrote this. And you can say it, you can write it down, repeat it back to yourself, but it's kind of long. Here it is. I am whole, I am worthy, I am capable of so much more than I can even imagine. God is on my side. Success, abundance, health, love, and healing are mine this year, and no one can stop them from coming to me. I am powerful, strong, capable, and loved. I am in love with the woman I am becoming and in love with the woman I am right now. I speak positivity over my life and release any people, places, situations, mindsets, and beliefs that are not in alignment with the life I am creating. For the good of all and the harm of none, so be it, so it is. So remember that as you go into this year, y'all. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!